Wonder Woman 84 kind of sucks, which is kind of counterintuitive to the fact that the first Wonder Woman had a lot of studio interference, the normal stuff, and it still turned out pretty good, other than like the last 20 minutes of the movie. But Patty got full directorial freedom, which usually would mean that the movie would be great. Look at Suicide Squad and The Suicide Squad. We'll get to how good the Suicide Squad is later, but the original Suicide Squad sucks because it's kind of a Frankenstein mess of a movie. But the new one is great because James Gunn got to do whatever the frick he wanted. And it is awesome. Anyway, let's get into what I don't like about this movie. There are two villains. One is the best part of the movie. One, I don't even remember the name of. Pedro Pascal's character, which I'm not even sure he has a name.
They might as well have just named him Scourge of Moneybags. Script, he's just Pedro Pascal.
Either way, Pedro Pascal's character is probably the best part of this movie. He gives such an insane performance. There's so much energy to it. And while the writing isn't great, honestly, this character would have been fantastic in another movie. It's just kind of sad that it got bogged down by all of the frickin' stupid Wonder Woman crap.
What it deserves you.
Anyway, this movie is aggressively boring, and I really can't understand why. Because honestly, in theory, this story should be really energetic and fast-paced. It's a race against time to stop wishes from destroying the world. It doesn't make much sense. We'll get into that in a minute. The other bad guy, I don't even remember the frickin' name of, but she's this dork that gets turned into Wonder Woman and then gets turned into a cheetah. I don't know why. So there's this new plot device to end all plot devices that Patty Jenkins came up with that is called the Wish Stone. It's the seventh Infinity Stone. It's the Wish Stone. It's a stone that is able to grant any wish, but it takes something in return, kind of like a monkey's paw or some dumb crap. The Wish Stone literally allows the plot to do whatever it wants. Oh, you need to get from this spot to this spot. Oh, let's just use the Wish Stone. And honestly, the Wish Stone is never fully explained. Like, there are certain people that don't seem to lose anything. Like, what can you lose from asking for a car? There's a point in this movie, probably around the hour and 30-minute mark, where suddenly the world descends into chaos. For no reason. Like, there's no reason that getting your wish of a Corvette or, like, an improvement to your house should make the world end. And yet, suddenly, it's Armageddon.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
All of the charisma between Wonder Woman and Chris Pine is completely gone in this movie. It's like they just sucked the charisma away. They don't feel even like they're supposed to be the same characters. They just feel like empty shells of their characters in the first one. The story doesn't make much sense. So the big bad guy villain wants to take over the world for unknown reasons. I guess to like make his son proud of him or some crap. Don't ask me. Patty Jenkins decided not to add character to her characters. Anyway, so the main bad guy wants to take over the world, and he decides that the way to do that is to wish to take over the world. But instead of just wishing to take over the world when he gets the wish stone, like what a normal person would do, he decides to wish to be the wish stone.
Lady the Platypus, what are you doing down here?
That's a waste of a wish. Why not just carry the wish stone around with you? It literally has the same effect on the story if he just carries the wish stone around with him. There's a lot of really bad looking sets and CGI and green screen. It just looks strange. There's a lot of really dumb action. I still don't understand how you can write a movie with so many plot holes while having the single most insane plot device ever invented. How in the world did this lady on the black market find the wish stone and not know it was the wish stone? Like, you have to look for it and know what it is, but I don't know. What about the lasso of truth makes it able to make people do things for you? It's not a mind control thing. There's lots of times where Diana just decides to have new superpowers. Now she can fly and turn things invisible. That's new. Why didn't you do that in Justice League or Batman v Superman? Huh? Why not? I feel like they've completely given up on Batman and Superman because I want you to think about it. The last time that they've been in the movie was the Snyder Cut, and that was a remake of a movie that happened 4 years ago, which happened to be the last time they were in a movie. Anyway,
Just a little tidbit on me making the videos. I didn't record this video in order that I watched the movies, nor did I watch these movies in the order they came out. Just kind of whatever order I felt like it. Yeah, that was just a little fun fact for you. There you go. Anyway, the Snyder Cut.
Reshoot it, redo it, and reuse it, retool it, abuse it, dispute it.
The Snyder Cut is honestly not that good, guys. It's just in comparison to the original Justice League that it looks that good. It's just eh. It is honestly just a remake of that movie, just with a couple things better. One, the design of Steppenwolf is honestly pretty freaking cool in this one. I'm not gonna lie. I really don't understand how in all these other movies the VFX looks so bad. And this one just got, $30 million more dollars. Just 30. That's not even that much as far as these movies go. And yet it looks this good. It actually looks pretty phenomenal considering it only got $30 million to clean up the effects and shoot 2 more hours of footage. It's not bad. They got rid of the Superman's mustache, which is pretty nice.
Doesn't need you.
And they actually gave Steppenwolf a bit of a character. He wants the mother boxes and he wants to destroy the world because then he'll be able to go back to his home. There's lots of sequel bait in this movie that'll never happen because according to the DC officials, this is not an official part of the DCEU. But I'm including it anyway because I watched all 4 hours of this movie. And that is the biggest problem with this movie. It's 4 hours long. That is way longer than it needs to be. Just cut out everything with Lois Lane. Lois Lane is already a boring as frick character. You don't need her in this movie. Just get rid of her. You don't need her. Also, take out all of the slow-mo shots that aren't in the cyborg scene. 99% of the slow-mo shots in this movie are completely unnecessary. Yes, that scene at the end that I'm not going to spoil because it's just worth skipping to the end. It's pretty freaking insane. I don't know why they cut that out of the original Justice League. I don't understand why you wouldn't want this. It might be one of the most crazy things I've ever seen in a superhero movie. That doesn't excuse the fact this movie's still pretty crap. Superman's better in this movie, but he's still not great. Flash is really creepy, actually. He's kind of a pervert in this movie, and it's really weird because he was almost the best part of the last movie. Batman is exactly the same. Wonder Woman is also basically the same. I guess she does a little more, and we know why she knows about the mother boxes, but we didn't need to know that. For some reason, this movie is kind of episodical. Don't ask me why. It just kind of is how it is. I don't know, this movie just isn't worth it. There's a lot of really useless crap. I guess that they improved the final battle. I don't even know why it was rated R. It was barely more gory, and every time it was gory, you could barely tell there was gore. I'm not sure what to think about this movie. I guess if you really wanted me to, I could do a video where I completely compare Justice League and the Snyder Cut, but it's not even that good of a movie, so it's not even worth it. Moving on.
okay, you knew this is probably going to be the best one, and you already know because I said it earlier in the video. But yeah, this is 100% the best DCEU movie. Even though this is so tonally distinct from the rest of the series, I don't really care. This is a James Gunn movie at its core, and it's so amazing to see James Gunn just do whatever the frick he wants. This isn't a perfect movie. There's a pretty slow midsection, but the characters are so likable and entertaining while still being very much terrible people that it was so much fun. This movie is a blast from beginning to end, despite the fact that it has a bit of a pacing problem, and one of the villains is completely useless. I don't even remember this guy's name, and he literally does nothing. But one of its villains is 100% one of the best villains in superhero movie history. Starro the Conqueror is such a freaking epic idea. Who came up with this? That person deserves a gold star. My favorite character, like a lot of people, is of course King Shark, aka Nanawe. I liked him so much that I was debating whether I should change my profile picture from Peter B. Parker to Nanawe. Nanawe is such an interesting character because it's like Groot, except he's got this really dark spin on him. Yes, he is a cannibal. Well, is he a cannibal? Because he's technically the only one of his kind. Anyway, he eats people. This is kind of a dark twist, but I still like that you're able to connect with this really emotionally vulnerable character. He just wants some friends. Honestly, I'd be friends with King Shark. John Cena, honestly, this is the role that he was meant to play. When I found out that one of the characters in this movie, that's just a random character that no one knows about, was getting an HBO Max show, I was like, that's dumb. But then I watched this movie and was like, yo, this dude deserves a show right now. Every single scene where it's him versus Idris Elba is so smart. I like the idea that it's a Suicide Squad movie and people actually die in it. Like, why did no one die in the first movie? Oh yeah, because there are big name actors and they wanted them in the full movie. That opening scene where a bunch of supervillains die that you 100% thought because of the trailer would be main characters is so perfect because it sets up the idea that, yup, people are gonna die. But I like that some of the characters made it out because, about half of them died. The fact that there is a character in this movie called Polka Dot Man and that he might be one of the best characters is honestly insane. The entire idea of Polka Dot Man doesn't make much sense. The fact that it exists and is in a DC movie is honestly insane. This movie is a riot and it knows it. There are a lot of these cool title cards that show up that are kind of like comic book chapters and it just enhances the experience. There's so much more I didn't talk about, but I don't think I need to. Just go watch it. The real reason I'm making this is to really figure out how the DCEU went wrong. How such well-beloved, well-known characters could be in movies and not be good movies. I mean, it's Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. How hard is it to make a good movie? It really boils down to two things: character and structure. Let's start with structure first because it kind of plays into character as well. The structure of this franchise was originally going to be event movies first and then do the character movies second. Now, if that sounds counterintuitive, it does to me too. But I can't really judge whether or not that would have worked because it didn't happen. But even still, only 3 of the main 6 characters in Justice League got movies before they were in Justice League. Now, out of the 6 Avengers, only 4 of those people got movies. But Batman's movie was a team-up movie. It was a crossover event. I don't even think that counts. Also, Wonder Woman was in Batman v Superman before she got a movie. This whole franchise kind of feels like it's in the wrong order. Batman v Superman is in a spot where it is the second movie in the franchise. And a versus movie shouldn't be the second movie in a franchise. At least Godzilla had 3 movies and 1 for each of Godzilla and Kong before they did the team up versus movie. That makes a little more sense because it's kaiju, there's only 2 characters. But Batman and Superman have had no screen time together as of yet. They've had nothing to make us think that they would be enemies. And yet they're already in a versus movie before we even really know either of them. Not to mention the fact that most of these movies don't really do a good job of giving us their character. Superman literally has no personality in these movies, and it really shows because he's really bland. Batman also literally doesn't even act like Batman. Something I probably will mention in another video at some point. Wonder Woman is the only character that I think is really a good character, and even then, she can't carry this franchise. And she's only had 1 good movie to her name, and it wasn't even that good. But I guess now they're starting to move towards different characters for this series, and I guess it's starting to work. Shazam was good. Aquaman was kind of crap, but in a good way. Birds of Prey really got Harley Quinn into the spotlight, and I think she'll probably be a really good main character for this series. So maybe they can pull this together. So anyway, here's the ranking for all of these movies because I don't want to do a separate video ranking these movies. So, 11, Justice League. This movie is actual garbage. It is really disappointing because Avengers is awesome, and they're not even usually considered the cool ones. Justice League is considered the cool ones in the comic book world, but Justice League sucked. 10, Suicide Squad. I don't even need to mention why this movie sucks. Just watch like 40 minutes of it and you'll understand where I'm coming from. Number 9, Batman v Superman. Yep, this movie is absolute nonsense. It is garbage. It doesn't make any sense. And we're moving on. 8, Wonder Woman 84. Yep, another movie that is nonsense, didn't make much sense, and I didn't really like any of the characters. 7, Man of Steel. Fine, but what did they do to Superman? 6, the Snyder Cut. The Snyder Cut is the perfect middle of these movies. It is meh, and it is aggressively meh. Aquaman. It actually is probably worse than both Snyder Cut and Man of Steel, but Jason Momoa was really funny and really goofy, and I liked it. 4, Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman was a solid movie until the last 20 minutes. It probably would have been great if they had cut out the last 20 minutes. 3, Birds of Prey. Yep, I actually liked Birds of Prey a lot more than I thought I would. Harley Quinn was really funny. I thought that the gang, while they were a bit underdeveloped, were still really fun. Shazam, you knew it would be up here at the top. Shazam is awesome. It's a great time. Of course, number 1, The Suicide Squad. The undisputable best movie on this list. It is better than Shazam by a pretty wide margin, and it is definitely better than Justice League in every possible way. The Suicide Squad is emblematic of what good superhero movies can do. And while it's not perfect, it is definitely a great movie. So, these are the ones that I would consider talking about in another video. I wouldn't talk about all of them because some of them just don't need to be talked about. But here's the ones. Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, Justice League, Aquaman, Wonder Woman 84, and Snyder Cut.
Thanks for watching. I know the audio quality right now is pretty bad, but I don't really care. I'm getting this out quickly. The Oscars video that I mentioned in the Batman review is not happening. The Oscars pissed me off too much. Pardon my French. I can't get into words how much they made me mad, so I'm not even going to try. In the description of this video, there is a link to a Google form to vote on what the next long video will be. So please check out the description below if you want to be a part of the vote. If not, I'm gonna close down the voting in probably a couple of weeks. I don't know exactly when yet. I'll give you a date on the form. But anyway, thank you for watching and expect the next video hopefully within the end of May. I don't really know though.